if, previously we talked about that, how the moment they were born, the lineup of the stars and all of that, how that actually, is there's a map for their life, right? And then if we observe of, each person's life, is that everyone is moving on in their own pace, in their own kind of like space, and even though is that as a friend or as a family member, you're compassionate, you want to have the best for them, but in many ways is that you can't change of how that others carry on their life.
Yeah, you can't. And, this is another thing of like, why do you feel like you know what's best, right? Like sometimes we really think we know what a person, first of all, it's hard to think, oh, this person deserves better. This person, I want to see them do the best, live up to their potential, whatever it is. What makes us know what's best? What makes us know what the best trajectory of their life is, right? Like we don't, quite frankly. And, even looking at people's charts and stuff, like everything plays out in a way that you couldn't expect, and that's what we really need to open ourselves up to, especially when we look at other people's lives is, well, I don't know what's best because, you don't know what happens in your own life in terms of big changes, random changes. You don't know anything. So there really is no reason to care that much about what's happening in someone else's life.
Yes, yes. And actually is that even myself, by observing of my thoughts and observing of things that's happening, sometimes is that you just totally actually have no control. And even sometimes the thoughts coming to us, it happens automatically and you don't even know how is that came to you. And, right? So
Yeah.
becoming more and more actually aware of that. So that's also of course is that for others it's the same,
Yeah.
it's
It's like, how can we neutralize everything? How can we make everything okay? Like
yeah,
the thoughts you have, right? The stuff that comes, the situations that present themselves in life, like, and you view it from a neutral perspective, you know?
mm-hmm.
And it's hard when you look at people that you love, right?
Yes,
And, but at the same time, if they could also view it from a neutral, if you really just imagined everybody in this world could just view things from a more neutral perspective, then there wouldn't be so much suffering, right? So it's kind of like,
yeah.
are these situations really bad, or is it actually just, the perspective is not quite there, or so it's like the more we can sort of shift our own perspective and be accepting and compassionately there, but also genuinely there, and then
And
we're
actually,
serving the person quite well.
yeah, actually it's like, not having our own judgment be involved.
Yeah, exactly, because
Ways.
that's very affecting on people.
Uh-huh. Right? Because it's,
Yeah.
we put in our judgment, and then we interpret, of the situation, and then we get ourselves, charged up with anxiety, and then you thought that you are helping, but actually it's not.
Yeah, which actually, this kind of brings into the next, I kind of want to bring up a point of like, there's sometimes there will be things that like energetically you don't understand that happen in your body around situations like this. So like, let's say there's sometimes people that might drain you energetically, or situations that might drain you energetically. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those situations, you I always say like just move sort of towards the energy that feels better for your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are things you can sort of do to navigate in this world in terms of, you know, not to view things as non-neutrally, but at the same time, you do have a radar. Like your body has a radar for what is a good situation and what may not be the healthiest situation for your system. So,
Yeah. Well, I tend to is that sometimes, I notice of the entanglement, energetic entanglement. And then I notice is temporarily, that myself, there's nothing that I can really do, let's say,
mhm,
would help the person. And very often is that I actually remove myself from it, you know, and then, of course, I still care about the person. And I find that in my friendship a lot. So what I do is that, okay, I know for sure, there's an entanglement right over there, and there's not much that I can do actually is going to alleviate, let's say, of the entanglement. And then what I do is I remove myself. But usually is that after some time, I will actually check back the person or just connect with the person again, and then just to see how things change. And I did notice in a lot of the situations, many of the situations do change, and it's not even, let's say, you get into a conversation and then you notice, there's a little bit of entanglement, but it's already way much better compared to the point that when you removed yourself from